All right, so it's a great evening, and of course, welcome to it. Been long time coming. Yeah, been out for a while. Went on a sabbatical leave as far as this program is concerned, talking about meet your leaders. And well, we had mentioned of our comeback, which happens to be this evening. And in our comeback, obviously, had to make sure that we come back and get to talk about different issues that are affecting our nation because there's just so many things that are happening across the country. The few days that which we've been out, a lot of things have happened, a lot of things have taken place. Well, I am your host, Lance Sanibanda, and this is Meet Your Leaders on Ubuntu channel, coming through to you on on our Facebook page, 5FM. That is Ubuntu channel Zambia. Not forgetting also on our YouTube channel, which is Ubuntu channel Zambia, as well as on our Twitter, that is Ubuntu channel Zambia. And of course, this particular evening, very excited to be playing host to the founder as well as leader of an opposition political party going by the name of Democratic National Party. This is Mr. Sydney Chiyaba. Mr. Chiyaba, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening. Thank you for hosting me and inviting me. Good evening, viewers.
All right, it's great to have you. And of course, we've had interactions here and there. It's good to have you back. And of course, thank you for honoring our invitation to come back and have an interaction with the Zambian people on the different things and problems that are taking through or that are taking toll in this country. And of course, to you, dear viewer, remember that you can be part of the program by simply leaving us a comment underneath this broadcast, as well as share your views and your sentiments on our topic of discussion, which is what is the economic emancipation of Zambia, especially owing to the fact that a drought, a national disaster in a drought was declared by the Republican president, President Hakainde Hichilema. Well, before we get into the nitty gritties and all that, let me get to start with Mr. Chiyaba. Briefly, let's get to talk about your political party. This is one political party that not so many times has it been in the news. What is happening after the formation of your party? It seems like you went quiet. There's not too much activity from the Democratic National Party. Bring us up to speed. What are you doing in the background? How are you offering checks and balances to the ruling party?
Yeah, no, thank you very much for hosting me. Democratic National Party, as you may be aware, it was formed around 26 October 2022. So we've been 1 year plus in existence. I think 1 year and some months. I think 8 months. So we've been mobilizing. We've been mobilizing through the media interaction like this one. We've got the national audience, people countrywide supporting through our offering of credible checks and balances. As you may be aware, Democratic National Party, we're professional people. We offer practical solution to the problem that the country is facing. We are issue-based party. We've owned people because of our vision, our manifesto, our target, what we're trying to achieve for Zambia, our transformation agenda, and also our liberation in terms of the perennial problem that has been facing this country. So we are able to provide practical solutions to what has been failing to be done. So as a result of that, we have won votes and we've won people countrywide because of that. And it's not that we are using resources like what we have seen in the trends in this country, that political parties become popular even when they have nothing to offer to the country, but because they're able to spend. But for us, I'm happy and I'm proud that I founded a party which operates under my vision, my philosophy, my ideology, my giving back, my legacy, helping the poor, the empathy, so that once the country has achieved total economic independence for the country and for the people, it will mean all the Zambians will be poor. the poorest people will become middle class. The country will be self-reliant. This is my vision. This is my giving back to the country. So I'm giving back my knowledge, expertise, my skills, and
mm,
what I know can be done the best to improve what has been a perennial problems where Zambia rotates in cyclic rotation of
mm.
impoverishment and indebtedness. So for me and the party, we're happy to achieve those milestones. And what we've been
Okay.
doing, we've been mobilizing. Currently, we've got people, members countrywide.
Mm,
What we have not done to yet is that we've not started having rallies where we are going to. Rome was not built in one day. There are various
mm,
things that need to be put in place to achieve certain targets, which we are working on. And
mm,
once we start having rallies and we do our final analysis, which
mm,
means we are going to finish the project. The project is we are targeting in 2026 to form the government. So there are
mm,
things that we need to put in place to ensure that we reach that target. However, so far so good. The good is good to the people. If you tell them
mm,
about the Democratic National Party, they are able to receive the party. They are able to appreciate our credible checks and balances, providing alternative leadership,
mm,
providing alternative solutions to the problem that Zambia is currently facing, and our conduct and character that we lead exemplary. Because as a leader, you have to be exemplary in the society. So for me,
mhm.
I'm happy all this what has been achieved and the goodwill that I'm receiving from the people in terms of if you mention Democratic National Party, they're able to join, they're able to say we'll give you the votes. They've been
Mm,
tracking me, how I've been articulating issues on the various media houses, and they've been appreciative. So for me, this is good. Just today I was at Millennium. I'm receiving a good congratulatory message from people in Kitwe to say
okay.
they are very much happy and they come from Northwestern Province. They'll go to Northwestern Province as far as Chavuma, Kasempa to spread the news. For me, that is good because for them, they are appreciating me to say, we listen to what you say and you only talk about development, how we can turn around the impoverishment of this country and how people have been giving our strategic assets to foreigners who are businessmen so that Zambian we can get value for our assets and to ensure that the country poverty is eradicated, transformation in terms of total economic independence. Zambians are being empowered. We're happy for that, and you don't promote tribalism. For us, we are a
Mm,
national party. We are saying all 72 tribes, we are equal and we need to be united and progressive to ensure that we do what is called turnaround transformation for the country from being donor dependency to self-reliant, from always crying for an investor to come and invest in the country, for Zambians to invest in the country and develop the country. For us, we are very much happy and we are happy that we are able to provide credible checks and balances to our country and to our people because our core interest is Zambia and Zambian people.
mm. Now, you will agree with me that we will come back to the party issues, but let me zero in this one. You will agree with me that many are times where people mostly want to align themselves to a political leader that whom they know very well and that whom they understand their leadership style, philosophy, and then also getting to talk about probably the experience. One would ask, what does Mr. Chiyaba or what has Mr. Chiyaba done for this country, which one or two people may point at and say, well, through his leadership or because of his leadership, these are the things that have been achieved, and therefore we can follow him even as he is leading, the Democratic National Party.
Okay, so a leader, a tried and trusted leader, is a
Mm,
person who has led you, who has created impact, who is giving back. A
mm,
leader, you can determine him by how he presents himself, how is he
mm,
providing the solutions to the problem. The leaders
mm,
we've seen in this country, they are just envy. They are people talk about people. They've got nothing to offer. You can ask
mm,
them the question, what is the solution to the electricity problem? If we have the electricity problem, what is the solution to high fuel prices? They will not say. What is the solution to inflation? They will not give you the practical solution. A leader
mm,
is someone who show you the practical solution to the problem, offer credible checks and balances. It's not about the past. Yes, I'm a leader in various capacities and I've impacted the people in one or the other. But what I talk about, my vision, my manifesto, should be the one you judge leaders best. Because you can
mm,
never judge a leader who has not been a minister before, that if you need to present the work like you're the minister or the president. There are people who have
mm,
been presidents in this country. Uh, we've seen that there's nothing that they've done around. Zambians are getting more poorer. Even when they are ruling this country, the country was poor. We've got
mm,
leaders at the moment. We've seen high cost of living. We've seen poor
mm,
people getting more poor. And yet we are told they've been receiving grants of $1 billion, which have been given. If they are meant to govern the people, to rule the people, why they are not
mm,
subsidizing that $1 billion to ensure that the poor people are not sleeping hungry? So a leader is someone who show you the way. The leader is
mm.
someone who tells you, I'll do this. By doing this, I'll use this approach. If someone doesn't show you like that, even if you elect him, there's nothing he's going to do. This we've already seen this country.
Mhm. All right. To you, our dear viewer, remember you are watching Meet Your Leaders on Ubuntu channel. And of course, this evening, I am playing host to Mr. Sidney Chiyaba, who is the Democratic National Party president, as well as founder for this opposition political party. And I am your host, Lansani Banda. This evening, we are discussing the significance of economics, like what is the economic emancipation of Zambia, obviously trying to break ice here and there to see how best can Zambia's economy be emancipated, especially owing to the fact that we've always cried, people have always cried, the opposition has always cried that Zambia is rich in minerals, but then when it comes to the economy, it's been poorly managed, and these minerals are being poorly managed. Therefore, here's the reason why we are still a third world country, not even into the status of a developing country. Mr. Chiaba, let's get the ball rolling, or let's set the ball rolling. Talking about Zambia, housing so many precious minerals that just a ton of it, carats and carats of little bits of them, Zambia can move out of the huge debt that which it has. Economically, Zambia can thrive. What seems not to be working out for Zambia, despite having these many minerals, but we still remain a very poor country, and we have many Zambians that are impoverished, as you put it, impoverished, as well as they can't fend for themselves. What is wrong? What are we doing wrong that we are not getting to the economic standard or status that we ought to be at?
Yeah, so our vision as Democratic National Party is accelerated development for economic realization for all Zambians, liberate and transform Zambia into a developed and self-reliant country. Our goal is to get total economic independence for Zambia and Zambian people. Zambian
Mm,
people, I mean those people coming from 72 tribes. These are the
mm,
most vulnerable, and this is where the poor, the majority of the poor are. So the reason why Zambia has failed in economic and ensuring that the country is transformed to ensure that everyone is living above poverty line, above our food basket. As you may be aware, our food basket in this country is at 10,000 kwacha for the family of six. So the reason is very simple. Democratic National
mhm,
Party were saying strategic asset we should nationalize 100%. We've identified 6 sectors. These sectors
mm,
like mining, telecommunication, um, technology 3, energy 4, manufacturing 5, agriculture 6. In these sectors, especially mining and telecoms, if we don't nationalize 100%, then we do majority shareholding of 60% and above. In these sectors, if we can manage them competently and own them, it will mean we are going to create decent jobs. The profits, we are going to open more viable companies and entities like solar plants, state farms in each provinces. So the biggest problem which has been here is that the people have been governing us. Then they come for personal growth, looting the country. As you may be aware, public service is meant for the people. The money that is found in public service should work for the people, and especially the poor, because the money can never work for someone who's rich or who's doing well, who's living well, especially the poor. But in this country, we have seen that instead of coming as a leader to give back, they are coming to do business. They come up with policies that improve businesses for the rich, for their associates. They come up with programs to root the resources. They borrow money which they misappropriate. So all these things, you can never make a country and the poor people to go anywhere. Poor people get more poorer, and it's projected that people in this country will start dying of anger, because at the rate we are moving on, there is no art for others. The leaders who come, they come up with policies that injure the poor. This is the reason that if the mines were managing the mine, personally, I used to grow up in the mining area. In the mine area, a long time ago, the mines were 100% government owned, Zambia Concentrated Copper Mines. They were creating decent jobs. They were paying reasonable salaries. They were supporting miners with the 50 kg bag of mini meal per month. They were supporting school children and dependents with money and school fees to go to school. I personally benefited in those areas. Now, if you go to the mines, those things are not happening. Employment, decent job creation is not being created. Very few jobs. Then the mines are in the hands of businessmen. So businessmen are the one who get the large chunk of share of our national wealth. While the owners of the country will get through taxes and mineral royalty taxes, small chunk. So what are you trying to solve? A businessman is a person who comes to look for money, and an investor is a businessman who is doing business for his personal gain or for his gain. He is not doing that business to create one decent job, transform the poor to become middle class. It's not his responsible. His responsibility is, I put $2, I need to get $10. If I can work with 3 people to get $10, for me it's good. So we need strategic assets to be in our hands. I can give you one example. In Qatar, they have natural gas. The natural gas is still owned by Qatar. They have not privatized it. And then the management of natural gas, they can employ either Qatari or an expatriate. This is the same concept the Democratic National Party is saying. In Zambia, we are going to do it. We are going to ensure that we nationalize the mine and employ expatriates if our local people can't manage. Because the biggest problem with Zambian has is what is called greedy and selfish. If he's on something good, he only think for himself and his family. So if we have got people who are incompetent, who have got heartlessness disease, it means as a country, we should own something that we can employ an expatriate to manage a viable business so that we can get necessary profit and create decent jobs. If a company is managing viably, it means more jobs can be created, because it's a law and the responsibility of government to create decent jobs. It's not an investor. But in this country, everything they cry for an investor. And an investor, he comes here to look for money. Even a Zambian who has got a business, go and set up a company in US to look for money. He's not going to US to develop their country and forget about Zambia where he comes from. This doesn't happen. So this is where the biggest problem that Democratic National Party is trying to resolve. This is the major pain point. So as a result of this, you can never be successful in your economy, because most of the money which is generated from what you call your wealth is in the hands of individuals, and that money is not used to create impact to all the Zambians. So, Muka National Party was saying all our national cake should be in our hands. All the money should come to Zambia and be invested in Zambia and be managed by Zambian, and ensuring that Zambia, that money is being used to create impact to poor Zambians, to transform them into middle classes through uh, giving them grants, startup capitals in the form of grants, and also training them in business incubation, business management, so that once those SMEs they grow, they are going to create other decent jobs for others. By doing this, it will mean unemployment levels will reduce, the country's GDP will increase because people will be productive, and also ensuring that our economy, our currency will get the value because we are going to have what is called Zambia Investment Fund or
Mm,
Zambia Sovereign Fund.
mm,
The money that will be put to invest in various sectors in Zambia and other countries. By doing that,
yeah.
our country will be strong because we are going to have a lot of reserves.
Mm. Now, Mr. Chiyaba, one or the viewer out there would be saying, or is saying in their mind to say, always opposition leaders or politicians, when they're in opposition, they always have these brilliant ideas on how to turn around the economy, how to make Zambia a business hub, how to make Zambia, a land of milk and honey. But once given the power, all these ideas changes. All these ideas go away. What makes you different and special from the others?
Yeah, so what makes me special than others is that I'm a leader of principles. I value integrity to be the first, not the money. I'm not
Mm,
driven by money.
okay.
Politics is governance and leadership. I've
Mm,
founded this party to help the poor by giving back my knowledge, expertise that I have to my country to transform. If I can see people living in impoverished, in filth environment, are living in a clean environment, there's no one who is hungry, people are able
mm,
to eat, I'm happy
mm,
as a human being. But in this country, what I've done my analysis and what I've been continuously observing is that
mm,
people complain that people, when they are in opposition, they've got solutions to the problem, but they
mm,
forget to interrogate those people to provide practical solutions. One, they forget to do a background check on the people. They forget to assess the people. I can give you an example. This is a
mm.
scenario, and it's new.
Yeah.
Someone was a minister under was a minister in another government. Okay, I can give you an example in the way that these people who are coming to campaign or to
Mm-hmm.
become leaders in this country, they
Yeah.
spend money. They spend money to become popular. I
Mm,
can give you an example. Just recently, we had a forum for political parties discussing political party bill, and the
mm-hmm.
presenter informed us that the forensic audit of 2021 general election shows that one political party spent 11 million kwacha on billboards countrywide, and others they spend big chunks of money. That is just on a billboard. So people to become popular in this country, and that political party has become popular because of money. People are using money to become leaders of the country. Then that money they are using it, where they are going to recover it from? They are going to recover from by routing the public resources, the money that is meant to work for the people in the country. Because these jobs, like president, is a job just like any other job. So a president is a job where they even pay salary. If someone
Mm,
can spend 11 million, why can he try to become a president? So these are some of the questions. So in this country, people they don't uh, interrogate people. They follow people blindly because that party is popular. They are spending money. In this
Mm.
country, most of the political parties which are popular, they've got nothing to offer. This is the truth
Yeah.
of the matter. But can you urge the leaders of those parties who doesn't have nothing to offer? They don't even have a practical solution to any problem in this country. Some leaders who have been tried it, their leadership is far much the worst. Some they are just routers, but look at how people follow them. So it's they us
Mm.
people who promote these politicians to deceive us. This is the reason they deceive us, because for them they are coming for personal growth, so that they can come
Mm.
and steal, so that they can become rich and live well with their families. They only think about their families, and they only like the votes from the poor. This is what I've observed, and this is true. There's no malice about it. This is the truth of the matter. But if people, I can give you an example. In Europe, most of the countries in Europe, they are serious because they don't entertain mediocrity. Just recently, we had the election in UK. The ruling
Yeah.
party is out. The opposition has come in. So in Europe, they are very serious. What you say during the campaign, they should see it actual implementation. If you
Mm.
failed, no vote. They will not vote for you. They will change you. But here in Zambia, someone is telling you during the campaign that when you elect me, the bag of mirimi will be 50 kwacha. You can never elect someone who tells you like that, because he is not the monopoly of the economy. To produce something, there is what is called fixed cost and variable cost. So
Mhm.
this is what determines the costing. So it's about reasoning. If a person is a president in your country, instead of that
Mm.
person using initiative to look for money to construct a road, he is going to borrow the money to construct a road. He's not a leader. A leader is someone who provides solution to the problem and create impact, because borrowing is creating another problem. In this country, people borrow and they fail to repay the money. So all these things are signs that you can't elect people, but why do you elect them? Politics is not about envy. It's about who can do the job. So
Mm.
if a person is elected and is not doing the job, the law of opposition for me is to provide credible checks and balances, provide alternative leadership, provide
Mm.
the alternative practical solution to the problem, like high cost of living, how are we going to end it, unemployment. These are the major problems. Poor land management. Three, anger, poverty. These are some our assets, our strategic assets being in the hands of individual businessmen called investors. So these are some of the major problems that need to be tackled. How can the poor receive the empowerment fund to reach them, to create transformation from being poor to middle class? These are some of the important solutions that need to happen. But if the people are just coming, when they come, they are talking. If you hear a politician is talking about an individual during the interview, the TV interview, just know that he has got no solution to your problem. Even if you elect him, what is he going to do? A person is envy, a person who go to talk about an individual. It's not an individual is important here. It's the country and the people. You need to provide solutions. Those are the people you can elect. In this country, I can give you an example. In one constituency where I used to stand as MP before,
Mhm.
we were invited to let's to the Mandayo. People were failing to articulate issues. People ran to attend less to Mandai. But the same person who failed to attend less to Mandai, to articulate issues, how he's going to turn around in the same constituency. That is 10 years ago. He failed, he's the one who came to win. And that person won, the same problems of 30 years ago in the same constituency is the same problem as at today. So
Mm.
why do you elect people? Which criteria do they follow to elect someone? There's no criteria. They just elect people because they've seen people are spending money. I can assure you, any person in this life who has worked for his money can never just go and start throwing that money. They are using
Mhm.
money to so that they get the votes. Once they get the votes, is to root and to recover their money. Simple and straightforward. So the biggest problem is the Zambian voter who does not assess the people is voting. He doesn't apply sense of reasoning. He doesn't have a checklist or criteria why you should vote for someone. This is the reason
Mm.
we see in compounds, they take musicians. They sing song. They are being elected. Up to today, abject poverty is hammering them. Anger is hammering them because leadership is not business. Business is where you do business on your personal capacity. So this is my humble appeal to the voters, and this is my answer to your question. This is the
Yeah.
reason they see that the defeat during the the opposition, and when they are elected, they will do nothing. The signs are there even before electing them. Even now, we can show various opposition. It's just that I'm not a petty person to talk about people. But
Mm, mm,
people
mm,
themselves, the general public, should assess us leaders who is genuine, who talk the truth, who is offering practice. It's not man I should give them to vote for me because leadership is me who is giving back my knowledge to transform them. It's me who is coming to help them. It's not them who are helping me because I'm not coming to enrich myself when I become a leader. I should work for the poor. Why should I aspire to be a leader if I'm just coming to enrich myself? That is not human. That is inhuman. If I'm elected, who are the most vulnerable people? Is the poor. How can I make a policy which improves someone who's already rich to become more richer? Then the one
mm.
who is poor to become more poor and die of hunger and die of various diseases because of no medicine in the hospitals. Doesn't work.
Now, Mr. President, obviously, when we talk about a thriving economy, we are talking about an economy that boasts of massive production when it comes to manufacturing and exporting. You have already finished goods that you are exporting out there. There's a massive production that is taking place. Also, obviously, there should be human activities, massive of it, that takes part into manufacturing and production. And on top of that, obviously, empowerment of the people as well as employment of the masses is what boasts of a very good economical growth or an economic growing, because then when you have productive people and active people, it means you have a country that is moving on a fast-paced uh, developmental growth. But then in this country, everything that which we see is quite the opposite of that. There's too little production. We have high unemployment rates, and when we even talk about uh, salaries vis-a-vis cost of living, it's a sorry sight. How can we harmonize this in the current situation? How can we come back in harmonizing this to see to it that the poorest of a Zambian out there is able to meet up the basic needs standards of a family of five, as JCTR always puts it in their reports, that it's 10,000 for a family of five to survive in this economy. How can we get into that?
Yeah, no, this is good observation, and this is what is happening because when a leader comes for personal growth,
Mm,
they don't consider the plight of the poor. Because if you're a leader, when you're making a decision, you should look in the compounds in rural areas where we've got poor people. Once you're
mm,
making a decision, you should have empathy. Putting yourself in the shoes of the poor people, how they live, how they survive. If the price of
mm,
minimum is at 300 to 400, how many people can manage? What is happening to the poor people? There's nothing in those lines. People are not thinking in those lines. So the
mm,
solution is that in economics, there are about five key things that need to be done properly to ensure that we sort out the economic challenges. One is inflation, high cost of
mm.
living. So high cost
Yeah.
of living, what triggers high cost of living is that one, if the catalyst of the economy is not properly managed, the catalyst
Mm,
is the fuel. If the fuel is high, it causes high cost of living because production also goes up.
mm,
Energy deficit. Energy deficit, like load shedding, also causes high cost of living. Uh,
mm,
Fertilizer pricing also causes high cost of living. That is inflation. We've got five things that need to be done properly. We've got macroeconomics. big things in the economy, macro policies, this need to be done properly. Micro, small things, SMEs and all these, they need to be empowered. This is the reason business training is important. Giving them grants for startup capital is important so that they understand how to grow the business. Once the microeconomics is thriving, then we are doing well. Fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is good. Government control the expenditure and come up with the policies that influence growth in the economy. So these things, if they are done properly, the economy is going to be okay. Then strategic assets, the asset that drive your economy in terms of what is your most for export that annual forex. So the mines should not be in the businessman. If we are think properly, we could have said, okay, even if we are lacking some expertise into management of the mine, because what we lack is expertise. We don't lack expertise, but we've got people who are greedy. So what we lack is people who are human. So since we don't have people who are human, because if we trust a Zambian to manage a mine, they'll be rooting, they'll be greedy somehow. But if we've got people who are human, who think for others, they will manage the national resources, thinking that this is a national cake where everyone should benefit. So if the mines are nationalized, we are getting full value of our minerals. In telecom voice is one of the lucrative business. We are getting full value. We are nationalized. It will mean we're going to have a lot of money, which we can even put in Zambia Sovereign Fund. We can put money in Zambia Sovereign Fund to invest in other sectors of the economy where there's high return on investment. These sectors like agriculture and energy, putting up solar plants, putting up state farms to grow more food, to feed our country, and also to export, creating the economy in terms of our production. Most of the things that we import should be produced here. We do benchmarking and strategic alliance partnership with companies which manufacture certain things that we import and start consolidating our own economy and also tapping in other export markets like Comesa, SADC. These are some of the areas that can make our gross domestic product to grow. So for the country to have growth in gross domestic product, unemployment should be sorted. So unemployment should be trading below 5% of employable population from 18 to 55 years. By this, it means people should be productive in terms of producing goods and services in the country, and also goods and services which are exported. By that, our GDP can grow even up to $500 million to $1 trillion. This is possible. Industrialization agenda through coming up with policies that empower and upskill Zambians to do manufacturing and strategic alliance partnership. If a company, for example, I can give you an example. Toyota start assembling all Toyota cars in the country, and we have gone 50-50 with Toyota because they have the one who've got the knowledge, expertise. And we are hosting them here, we provide the plant to manufacture vehicles here and sell them here, and also export to other countries which are exporting like Congo, our neighbors, and Comesa. It will mean we'll create more jobs, our GDP will go up because we'll be exporting. So these are some of the measures that can ensure our country succeed. If you look at statistics now, in manufacturing alone, we are talking about 90% are foreigners who are doing manufacturing in the country. Soap is done by foreign companies. Major things is done by foreigners. Zambians, maybe they are trading at 10%. That is not good. It should be 90% of Zambians are the one in productivity areas. 10% might be foreigners. By this, it will mean our country will grow economically because all the money that is being generated from that sector is being pushed back in the economy as opposed to externalize or being in the hands of individuals who are not Zambian, who might one day decide to say, I'll go back to India, I'll go back to Lebanon. So these are some of the problems that we get. I'll go back to China. These are some of the problems. We are the people who don't value ourselves. We are the people who think an investor is a solution to the problem. But forgetting that there is no investor in this world. Any person is just a businessman. But certain business to do them, you need to have investment amount to put in place for it to operate. So any business to start, it should start with a working capital. what assets I'm going to start with, cash at hand I'm going to start with, to operate and reach the targets that you've set. So there's no investor in life. These are businessmen who are getting money from our country. There is no country in this world which has developed by giving everything to a businessman.
Mhm.
There is no country which will develop.
All right. Now, after highlighting all this, and then also coming to this government, looking at the interventions that they've tried to put across to obviously keep the economy where it is now, which they say currently it's a little bit stable as it was supposed to be, because we've seen many times the central bank of Zambia has been coming in to inject a little bit of some foreign currency just to make the kwacha stable, or to make the kwacha gain a little strength for a while, and then back to default where foreign currency becomes stronger than the kwacha. We've also seen situations where liquidity there's liquidity in the economy. We've also seen where the monetary policy rate being raised, affecting those getting loans in banks and stuff like that. Like, what are the long-term repercussions of doing this? Because in a short space, or in a short while, this appears to be a good motive to do, because things stabilize for a short period of time. But then what are the implications in a long-term basis, if we continue on this trajectory where our reserves slowly getting depleted, because the kwacha has to be supported in one way or another.
Yes, so these are what we call cosmetic contingent plans, which are put to mitigate problem for short term,
Mm,
while failing to address the long term. So the problem can be only resolved if we've got a long term solution or a permanent solution.
mm,
So increasing monetary policy affects the people who get the loans. So if you
mm,
get the loan, the monetary policy is increased. It means the amount you're supposed to pay back and the interest also get increased. The reason people get loans is to invest in a business whereby you make profit, return the loan amount, and you also make profit. But if you get the loan amount and still return more amount and you have made nothing, it will mean uh, there's no solution that you are providing. Loans are meant to help people in business to recapitalize their business, make money, and pay back the banks with some interest. Those banks also they are in business, but the interest should not be so much that the person who borrowed can never make something. So all
mm,
these contingent plans that are put in place, like releasing more forex in the market so that the kwacha gets stabilized. They are cosmetics. Cosmetic, I mean, they are intermittent. They are not resolving any problem. For me, I prefer to do something that permanently resolves the problem
mm,
for long term. So for me and for the country, it's not good. The solution is that our currency, if is trading $1 to 5 kwacha, then we're a bit okay. But if the $1 is equal to 20 kwacha, $1 is equal to 25 kwacha, the economy is not okay, because it
mm,
makes even importation of goods from outside the country so expensive, and it makes, again, it adds the cost of doing business high, and also making the commodities which are being imported from other countries expensive in our local markets. So
mm,
they should do a lot to ensure that they address this problem by ensuring that strategic assets that can gain forex in this country, Zambia is getting 100% or more than 60% of the gross revenues being generated from that. In mining, in telecoms, in technology, in agriculture, energy, and manufacturing. Because these are the major sectors that can turn around the fortunes of this country in terms of the economic growth, strong currency, reducing poverty, creating decent jobs. So for me, I believe in permanent solutions and long term, not short term. Even in real life, a person who lives in short for today only is a person
Mhm.
who continue being poor because you make 20 kwacha and you feed on all 20 kwacha, you will not reserve it. But a person who makes 50 kwacha and say, I'll use 20 kwacha today, this 30 kwacha, I'll save it, then I'll invest in something that you multiply it, is a good person. He will progress in life.
Now, anyways, we are heading towards the end of this our interview, our interaction. Um, Time and again, or at some point, it had proven to say when the central government or when government invests in gold reserves, storing up gold in the central bank, and then the central bank is trading obviously in gold and stuff like that. It somehow stabilizes the economy and boosts the economy because gold is such a reserve that everyone is vying for. Most of the countries are really looking out for. But then we have so many places around Zambia, dotted around Zambia, where people are illegally mining this gold. It's leaving, Zambia illegally. We've heard of stories where Central Province is one of the provinces where gold is living illegally. It's been mined illegally. It's living illegally. What terms or measures, in this case, would you put in place as as a government? Suffice you were the one ruling now, and there are these things that are happening. What measures would you put in place to see to it that this precious mineral is, as much as it is being mined by Zambians legally or illegally, it still has a touch of the central government, and central government has control over it on who trades or how trade goes around it, or especially about it? Shouldn't we have gold reserves, in our central bank?
Yes, yes, gold reserves are important in a central bank, and it's important to manage minerals effectively and efficiently, not only gold. So, what needs to happen is that if governments are interested to ensure that we get value from our natural resources, they need to go on all the areas where gold deposits are, measure the quantities, and check if it's bulk quantities. They should nationalize and ensure that the government mines and the gold is part of our reserve, part of our reserve in terms of at the central bank. Then, if it's small quantities, what they should do is that they should give mining permits to local people in those areas so that local people can do artisanal mining policy. So once they mine that gold, there should be a procedure. That gold should not end in a black market. They should be
Mm,
selling to a government agency. I saw there was a company which was from Zambia Gold Company. They should sell to Zambia Gold Company. Then Zambia Gold Company, when they buy, the Bank of Zambia can buy from Zambia Gold Company. Then Bank of Zambia can keep that as a reserve because gold is good because if gold prices goes up and the Bank of Zambia try to sell at London Stock Exchange or in Dubai, they are going to make a lot of money, which is going to ensure that our currency becomes strong. Our country has got money to do various investment projects. They can
mm,
invest in sovereign wealth funds so that they can have money to be invested in various sectors which have got
mm.
high return on investment. So these are some of the areas that we need to see people using their thinking process lightly to ensure that we do our best in those areas. So this is my take on your question.
All right. Your concluding remarks. What plans do you have for DNP, especially that we only have a year plus a few months getting into the 2026 elections. What roadmap do you have for the party, and what should the general citizenry expect out from this party?
No, for us, we have come up with our manifesto. We have a manifesto for 5 years. So we've got our vision. Our vision, again, I'm going to explain it, is accelerated development for economic realization for all Zambians, liberate and transform Zambia into a developed and self-reliant country. Our target and our goal is to do and get total economic independence for Zambia and Zambian people. We believe that industrialization, nationalization of strategic assets, decent job creation, this will turn around our economic trajectory, will turn around in transforming poor people to become middle class. 70% of our policies should be addressing the need areas. The need areas in this country is the poor people. 70% of our people are in abject poverty, 80% unemployed of those employed population. So these are the major problems that the country is facing. We need to become a self-reliant country than depending on donor dependence and borrowing. So we say no to excessive borrowing, indebtedness. We say no to those indebtedness because indebtedness will not take us anywhere. The people we borrow from, how do they make the money? We are also human beings who have got land. God gave us land in this country. God gave us natural resources in this country. God gave us water. He gave us people who can do the work. Where are we missing it? Because we are missing it because our leaders of today, they come for personal growth. They are greedy, selfish, and we are people who have no ambitions to reach targets. We always have to talk about talk shows, pronouncements. Actual implementation is zero. We talk more, action less. For me and for Democratic National Party, we say, Fichite, do it. We believe in doing it. Talk less and do more. So our roadmap going to 2026 election, we are going to participate in the election, and we expect Zambians to vote people on merit. You have been voting for people since 1991 to date, what they have done to you. These are lessons learned. So please vote people on merit. Ensure that you vote people for practical solutions to the problem. These media houses, Ubuntu Channel, and other media houses in this country, they are doing a lot, featuring us leaders who are vying to be president of this country, so that you can make informed decisions. Get time, listen to what we are saying, and listen to our vision and our manifesto, and make informed decision by comparing those who want to stand, and vote people on merit. A person who is articulating, who is providing a solution, is a good person to elect than that one who doesn't provide any solution but is able to spend the money on you. Because once you elect, you need to recover the money. For us, it's giving back to our country and the people. So, me, I always emphasize and always caution voters to vote people on merit, because it's only merit people who can turn around the fortunes of this country. People are not on merit. They are vying for these positions for personal growth, to come and do business, to come and root. We've seen leaders who root us. Let's make informed decision now and elect leaders on merit. From us, Democratic National Party, we've done our part. We've presented our case to the people. It's up to the case. We continue engaging with the media, mobilization, holding rallies, and also visiting all the provincial centers and towns and districts and rural areas to mobilize, so that the party, you know it, you know our symbol. Our symbol is a plate with food, no anger. So ensure that you vote people merit, give DNP a chance to liberate you and transform you. This country, at the rate that we move, will continue getting more poorer. Our population is getting increased. We are 20 million people. We've got 70% people abject poverty. What about when we are 50 million. How many poor
Mm,
people are we going to have? This is a worrisome factor. We are
yeah.
saying the independence that we got in 1964 was purely to govern ourselves. Have we achieved our target as a country? No. We have got economic independence which need to be delivered for
Mm.
everyone in Zambia to receive the national cake, to be transformed into middle class. If that doesn't happen, who is going to do economic independence? No one. All these people are vying to become president. Their policies is capitalist. Their policies to make the richer more richer and the poor more poorer. They've got no heart for others. So this is my last word.
Well, Mr. Chiyaba, thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate, and we can only wish you the best as you continue mobilizing the party and spreading the party's message to the people of Mother Zambia.
So thank you very much. Thank you, viewers, for listening to this interview, and I wish uh, more interviews to be accorded so that we can spread our vision and our manifesto.
Definitely, we'll be reaching out to you time and again to discuss different topical issues, especially those affecting this great country, Zambia. And of course, to you, our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in, for coming through and being part of the program. Really appreciate you. And remember that. Meet Your Leaders is back, and we shall be back again next Wednesday from the hour of 20. Watch out as we have another exciting guest, just like the one that which we had today. That is the leader and founder of Democratic National Party, Mr. Sidney Chiyaba, as we're discussing the economic emancipation of Zambia. My name is Lansani Banda. Until next Wednesday, bye bye, and have a great evening.